Right, we're out here this morning on a bit of a fox patrol. Speaking to the keeper yesterday, he's got his birds coming in the next week or so, and there's a few foxes around that he wouldn't like to be here anymore. So what I've come out with today is the NOCPIX ACE H50R on top of the Howa rifle, and we'll try and dispose of some of these pesky little ginger things. I like ginger things, but not when they come to eating pheasants. Here we go, let's see what we can do. Right, so I've got a Muntjac over here. If I wasn't using binoculars, I wouldn't be able to see what the backstop was, which is one of the disadvantages of using thermal. So all I'm going to say is, even though you're shooting with thermal, you still need to know your backstops. You still need to be able to use your binoculars to identify 100% prior to shooting using thermal. As you can see there, that's a little doe there. Very interested in us, watching us. I could have shot her 10 times over, but no backstop. So let's continue. There's another one behind it. At the branch. Right, so obviously looking through the scope, I saw it with the thermal. You still have to double check with the binos. So I could see that she's quite pregnant. The reason we picked the pregnant ones is then there's no dependent fawns out there starving to death if you kill its mother, basically. So it's the ethical thing to do. You also find if you've got a female with a male, you don't really want to be shooting those, because if she's an estrus, it means she's only just recently given birth. So the whole thing, you don't want to be orphaning that youngster. But no, she's a nice fat one, quite an older one, so yeah, a good one to take out. Youngsters, so they can breed after sort of 6 to 8 months, have the first estrus, shall we say. But, yeah, so maiden does, any pregnant doe, but the last thing you want to be shooting is any doe that's been pursued by any bucks, or anyone that's basically lactating, because it's got youngsters at foot, and you'll never find them in undergrowth, even with thermal. So ethically, it doesn't sound right when you think about it. Yeah, let's shoot heavily pregnant does, but it's the most ethical way to do it. So there we go. Get one of my saws out, which is sold out by the way. Within about 3 hours of the last show going out. So, slightly different from the last one that we saw on video. It's a little bit more broken. This time of year there's loads of flies, so we don't want to be leaving it hanging too long. We want to be getting it into the bag as soon as possible. Right, so the bag I've got here is the Ogden's row sack, the compact row sack. So we've got the backpack here, and then inside the actual backpack we have our own little standalone row sack. Which I have bought, by the way. I don't get given this stuff, just so you know. But yeah, I've got the Ogden Seeker sack as well, which is really good for sort of up to sort of fallow size deer. If you're carrying out, especially if you're up in clear fella stuff, it's always easier to carry out than drag. So we'll just get this up and into the bag. What I do is I put mine onto a strop, so the strop can then, you can take the hooks off quite easily. Then if you've got a fowl or a red, you can then use a strop to drag. But also, if you haven't got sort of these type of trees around, you can actually use it to go up and around trees. If you've only got one branch coming out, you can put it up and around the tree, and it still spreads the legs as well with the two hooks on the end. Just another top tip. So I've had this NOCPIX ACE H50R out on the Howa rifle for probably a month now. You've probably seen one of the previous shows where we did a bit of foxing with it. So I've had it down here in Hertfordshire into these really thick woods to give it a good run out. It was initially after a fox, but we've managed to capture a Munty. Things I'll say about the Ace. I've got nothing honestly bad to say about it. Battery life is phenomenal. You'll see the clarity of the scope, especially during hot weather when a lot of the thermal stuff falls down just due to the contrast and stuff. Again, it could be down to contrast settings, but this stands out head and shoulders above any scope that I've used so far. Obviously I've not used all the scopes, so this is my personal opinion, but more than enough scope to shoot anything that you may want to be involved with. In conjunction with the NOCPIX Vista I've been using for the past few days, there's nothing else you want. Obviously a set of binos maybe to positively identify your target if you're shooting deer, but for foxing, long range shooting with this is a breeze. It's ×3 minimum zoom, so which is good for me, because you can get onto the target animal relatively quickly, zoom in straight away, bang, fox down hopefully. But no, really pleased with it. Obviously we'll be putting it through more paces over the coming months, but suffice to say I'm more than impressed.